Awesome. Hello, hello. I am so excited for this live today. We have so many different fun things we're going to be talking about. I thank you so much for those who have commented on my last live and left me questions. We're going to be talking today about star seeds, a lot of astrology, some galactic astrology, some intuitive guidance. It's going to be exciting. So I'm super pumped up. Now, if this is your first time here, I just want to take a moment real quick to give you a little information about what these videos are for and how to participate. So every week I am offering these live opportunities to come gather and to share your questions. This can be for anything about astrology, human design, galactic astrology, galactic races, star seeds, any sort of question, intuitive guidance. I can tune in to your energy to kind of find out what information is useful for you to move forward. These are all some of the things that you can ask. And oh, hi Margot, I'm so excited to read for you today. So basically, if you want to participate, if you have not already shared a question, which I do have some questions, Margot's one of them, that I'm going to be talking about today. But if you have not and you're joining me live or you're watching the replay, what I need from you is basically to just share your first name. It doesn't have to be your full name or even a nickname. I'm just looking for something to help me connect with you. So I'm not trying to fumble over your YouTube name because my neurodivergent brain has difficulty with that. So give me a name and let me know your question. So whether it's you're watching live, you can put it in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, leave a comment. And if you are watching live, I'm going to get to as much as I can. Now, I'm going to start off with the questions that already asked in advance, and we're going to go through those first. Then, any questions live, I'm going to go through the chat and pull some things out. Hi, hello, Valerie. And now, okay, so remind me, I'm going to write in the chat here. I recognize your handle from last time. I wanted to take a guess at the name, but I'm afraid I'm going to butcher it. Also, I don't really do multiple things at once very well. So yeah, I'm gonna fumble over the chat a little bit, but I'm not perfect. Okay, so I know last week also I asked everybody if you could let me know kind of where you are in your journey. So that's something also I'm really wanting, if you can, to comment and share as new people are joining. I'm looking to find out, do you feel like this is all new to you? Are you kind of just starting, or are you at a place where you're in a very transformative time right now of your life, and maybe that can be challenging? Are you just new to discovering galactic astrology or any sort of starseed language that you're wanting to uncover? Or are you someone that is familiar with all of these terms? Maybe you know a little astrology, you've heard of a few things, but you mainly, this last group, you feel like there are gifts or something that is stirring that you're unlocking or wanting to unlock or learning more about yourself. that is kind of hard to define or label. And the reason why this is important is because a lot of people that are coming across my path are falling into this category. And I think it's because what's going on is we're awakening those aspects of ourself that have always been there, always been a part of our soul's journey. And in this life, as we are collectively evolving, it's kind of like they're being activated, and things are rising up with that. Oh, okay. Yes. Now, is your name Ingrid? Welcome. Sarah, yes. Okay. Sarah, so glad to have you back. I see some familiar faces here too. So, okay. So if you are watching the replay, or if you're here now and you want to share where you're at, so I kind of have an idea, that's helpful, and I can base that on future content that I share. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. This is a very unusual story, but it keeps coming up, and I feel inclined to share it to kind of tag along the conversation about people that have new gifts awakening. And this is a little out there, and honestly, I don't have a lot of the details yet, but I want to give you an example. Okay, so a few months ago, I was in a position where I was kind of connecting energetically, like you could say, towards a healing concept with my partner. This is something that I have a gift, but I don't really share it otherwise. Well, as someone that is a channeler, and I have channeled light language, in this situation where we were connecting, and this has to do with like the idea of gifts coming online, we don't exactly know what they are. And this is a very peculiar thing and slightly uncomfortable for me to share, but I'm going to share it anyways. So basically, while connecting to his energy, my guides started giving me very specific sounds to say. Now, I had done light language before, I'm familiar with that, but this was something entirely different. I kind of shrugged it off, went to bed. I wasn't able to sleep. My guides kept repeating the same tones over and over and over again. So finally, I got up and decided, okay, I need to write this down. Well, when I did, I spoke it out loud, and the energy I experienced in my physical body almost made me feel like I was high as a kite and going to kind of like pass out, in the sense of, I don't know, I was raised religiously, being slain in the spirit, where it's just like, it's this energy that completely like washes over you, and it's kind of disorienting. It was a very mystical experience. It was very heart-centered, a lot of energy. Well, I ended up having very powerful experiences after sharing that code that happened in my life. Later, I used it on my partner, and he had the same experience. I kind of dropped it and didn't think much of it. But I had a Akashic record reading probably a year ago, and she talked about this unusual gift that she described as some sort of like quantum-like platinum blade that was associated galactically somehow. I was like, I don't know what on earth this is. Put it aside. Recently, my partner stumbled upon someone that was talking about how different sounds are connected to aspects of your body, and that they connect to the soul in different ways. Don't know where it's going, but I'm like, that's weird, and not exactly something you can go talk to a lot of people about, and there's not a program to be certified in. So I don't know where this is going. But that's an example. There's a lot of people that are having circumstances where unusual things are coming up. They're stepping into their gifts and abilities, or new stuff that is kind of connecting, but you're not really sure why. I think that's a powerful thing that is happening right now. Okay, I'm going to real quick look through this. Oh, Costa Rica. Oh, wow. I bet you've got some, I'd imagine, I wonder what the weather is there like. I'm in Florida, and it's really hot right now. Awesome. Oh, cool. Margot, I'm a 4-6 manifesting generator as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and you're from North Carolina. My partner was from North Carolina. Well, he moved from North Carolina. So that's awesome. So great. Thank you guys for sharing that. Okay, let's get into the questions. Enough of my stories. Hopefully that whoever it was meant for, whoever resonates. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to start off with these questions. The first one is Margot. I'm going to go ahead and connect with you. I know I shared with you, I sent you an email that has a lot of different information, but I feel like being that you have connected with me, I know you have a session that's going to be coming up. I feel like your guides are already kind of intuitively giving me information that I'm connecting. And like I shared, I do really feel like you're going through some sort of quantum jump or leap. So for Margot, you wanted to know kind of how to proceed, where to go with this. So if you're listening still here with me, I'm going to tune into your energy for just a moment. And for anybody sitting here, if the question isn't directed to you, I still invite you to kind of maybe stick around or listen, because what I find is like energy attracts like energy. And often the things we need to hear come through in various different ways. So even though it's not your question, you might find that actually something shared or guidance is very relevant or is like an aha moment to help you connect something maybe you've been looking through or feeling for yourself as well. Oh, Ingrid, yay! Oh, cool. So we're doing our Akashic Records reading, the channeling. Oh, I'm excited. Yep, we're doing that right after the live. I'm so excited. That's going to be fun. Okay. Well, while you're here, still, the purpose of this is if you have questions, you can ask. So if you do, Ingrid, have a question, put it in the chat. Once I get through the ones I've already got, that I can answer and direct that. And it can be about anything. Okay. All right. Okay. So Margot, if you're listening still or watching the replay, and anybody else listening, I'm going to invite you to just kind of take a moment and to kind of breathe, relax into your body, especially because when I feel like all of this galactic high frequency energy comes through, the energy can really amplify. Also, because we don't take pauses enough, I feel like, in our day. So I would invite you to just take a pause, take a breather, take a breath. And I'm going to connect, Margot, to your energy and see what your guides want to share with you about how to proceed, the next steps, what's unlocking for you right now. Okay, Margot, the first thing I'm picking up is I'm seeing butterflies. And I know that seems, my logical mind it laughs because I'm learning to sort of honor what comes through without logical judgment. But I know butterflies are often used in spiritual language, but I feel like still, I'm seeing butterflies. I feel like this is notation of significant transformation. The butterflies have like a purple and greenish color to them. So I feel like there might be a significance in these colors in the butterflies. You are transforming in some ways. In your purple ray makes me think of gifts, but yes, the crown chakra. So there may be, I'm asking your guides, is this, okay, so yes, things that are coming into awareness, coming online. Yes, it is intuitive, but it has more to do the color purple in this instance related to what is awakening or coming to the surface of realization. For the color green, I'll be honest, for this one, I know that the green ray is not just connected to healing. It's also very much connected to nature and connection. But for you, I'm feeling right now, it's actually coming up in a sense of healing. And I'm also hearing the word see if I could say it, regeneration. I feel like there's a lot. I feel like what's coming through, I'm sensing there's like a lot of vitality. I mean, I feel like what your guides are saying, I feel like you're going to, especially over the next year, feel like you're getting a second wind, almost like a sudden, like second wind of enthusiasm in connection, in unlocking, in living and being and thriving. And I feel like what they want you to know is to savor the journey. Oh, that's lovely. Savor the journey, that what's for you can't be missed, and that you will naturally be able to. There's going to be a lot of information that's going to be coming up for you. A lot of new activations, a lot of processing, and it's been beginning on this new level. And I feel like what your guides want you to know is to understand what's for you can't be missed. And while there will probably be a significant amount of enthusiasm, to remember to savor the journey. And this will give the information a quality that it can integrate smoother. Also, I'm hearing alchemize through food. I feel like if this might be something as you're going through things, notice, tune into your body, notice what you're feeling drawn to. I keep hearing, I don't eat that. So if you find yourself like craving foods that you don't normally eat, to trust your intuition. Okay. All right, Margot, I think that's all that's coming through right now. If you are still listening, leave me a note in the chat. Let me know how that resonates. And if you're watching the replay, leave me a comment or reach out and let me know how that felt. Okay, before I go to the next question, I'm going to look really quick here. Okay, Sarah, awesome. Thank you. Once I get through these questions, then I'm going to take a look at your question and go through that. Okay. All right. The next question that I had came from Sundali, if I'm saying that properly. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Sundali, you had a question on, do all conjunctions mean they've had past lives on those stars or planets, or do they point to origins? This is a great question. This is a galactic astrology question. Okay, so I'm going to answer the first part. Do all conjunctions mean they've had past lives? All right, so technically, as we're trained in galactic astrology, the language is to say that this is highly likely. If you have a conjunction, it is highly likely that you have had a past life there. So booking a galactic astrology reading you can go into the Akashic records and unlock rich details of that life. That being said, I will be transparent that I have not had a conjunction that I've stumbled across yet that has not equaled a past life. So to that point, when you're listening to my Starseed videos, I said, if you have a conjunction, you have a past life there. And even so, one thing that's kind of fascinating, for example, sometimes people will say, okay, well, that's connected to like Lilith. Okay, well, Lilith isn't exactly a star or placement, right? Black Moon Lilith. Yes, there's the asteroid and other aspects, but technically, Black Moon Lilith is not a physical place, but in the astrology chart, it shows up. In my chart, I have a connection to Spica. Now, I just recorded a video recently that talked about Spica, and I believe I shared some of this in there. That even though I have it as a conjunction, but nowhere else, the orb or the degree is, in my opinion, fairly close to my Pluto, even though it's slightly outside of the orb normally considered in galactic astrology, which I think it's safe to say for most stars, you're looking at an orb of about 2 degrees. Okay. So, for example, my Pluto is at 20 degrees Libra, my first house. My Lilith is at 22 degrees, and Spica is at 23 degrees Lilith. So you can see it is only about 1 degree outside of that. So that being said, you could say sometimes the conjunctions, if it's to, for example, a vertex or part of fortune, but how I have found is if you have it as a conjunction, that energy is influencing you significantly in this life. Furthermore, I have yet to equally find a conjunction that I've not read a past life in the Akashic records that didn't completely resonate. So it's, in my experience, if it's you have a conjunction, yes, you have a past life connection to that galactic race, but always trust yourself, always trust your intuition. So if you are, for example, I mentioned Spica. If you're watching my Spica video and you're like, oh my gosh, it sounds like you're describing me, and you look in your chart and you have a conjunction or opposition, you have had a past life. And on that energy is significantly influencing. Now, for the second part of your question, origins. Now, there can be a misconception in starseed language that suggests we have one star origin place. What I have found, and as you can see, if you pull your galactic astrology chart, we have a lot of placements. We have a lot of aspects that richly influence the soul's journey. So, can you find your origins in your galactic astrology chart? That one is tricky because of this one reason, and that is there are a fair amount of individuals, especially individuals that feel drawn to my energy, and that has nothing to do with anything I've done or accomplished. But my soul origins are the blueprinters, which are group consciousness. Therefore, individuals that are drawn to me often come from a group consciousness origins, meaning Blu-rays, blueprinters, Andromeda galaxy, archangelic realm, which is connected to Blu-rays, the angelic realm. All of these are group consciousness. You cannot read that in the galactic astrology chart. You can see signs of it. For example, if you have a lot of galactic placements, such as the galactic, the great attractor, or if you have a lot of nebulas, or you have a lot of connections to Andromeda galaxy, royal stars, that's another thing. These can help show or affirm what shows up in the Akashic records, okay? But you can only unlock it through the Akashic records for group consciousness. So, can you find an origin? Let's say, for example, if you were a Palladian, if you have a Pleiades conjunction to Pluto, that could possibly be a suggestion that your origins came from your first life was a physically incarnated Palladian being. For me particular, every reader is different. I tend to get more group consciousness because of the level of what my understanding is on a soul level. So yes, you can discover your origins, but I wouldn't say it's something I would look up and say, bam, this is my origin. I would say for that, you would probably want to have someone who's certified as a galactic astrologer like myself to read the chart. And then it's cool because you also get the benefit of like knowing what that life is. I mean, it's neat to say, oh yeah, I'm an Andromedan, but it's a whole nother thing to be like, this is where my soul journey started. This is what my role was. This is what my passion was, because that will continue to play out through your entire soul's journey. And all that beautiful pattern language and connecting the dots is what I love. Okay, so that's the question. And that's your answer for that. So, Sundali, I hope that helped. And feel free, if you're watching on the replay and you want to share more, if there's a particular placement you have conjuncting your chart that you're curious about, let me know. Okay, I'm going to real quick look through this. Yeah, you definitely tapped into your nose. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I absolutely love this stuff, which is why I'm doing the lives, because I like all the odds and end questions, if I'm being honest. I have a lot of different interests, and information I like to weave together. I love reading. Yes, let me finish. If you're, I'm going to reply to this in the chat because I don't, so I don't get distracted. This is slightly, takes some mental energy for me being on the spectrum, if I'm honest, because I get distracted. Let me make sure I'm spelling your username right. I need to get my glasses. Bear with me, guys. AMIC. All right, guys, once I go through the questions that I have already, I'm going to get to these other ones. So I'll go back through the chat. Just a reminder, if you're just now joining, it's very helpful for me to connect to your energy if you give me a first name or a nickname. All right, so regarding the love reading, yes, I can connect on that, but leave me your first name. And if you want to add a note that you give me permission to connect to your records with that. Okay, all right. Aww. Oh boy. Yeah, relationship stuff can be tricky. Oh wow, the vertex connecting to Saturn. Yep, that would be fairly impactful. Guidance on how to navigate this situation. Yes, let me. Alchemy Apothecary. Can you give me your name again, please? I know you were here last week. I'm not great at remembering names. I'm working on it. But if you can give me your name, and I'll get to it. I'm gonna probably spend about 40 minutes more here. I might go slightly over on time, but if I don't get to your question now, I will get to it next Thursday. Okay, moving along. I have two more questions here that are already shared before we start this, and then I'll go through the chats from the beginning and go through the questions again. Okay, so the next one is Valerie. I'm not sure, Valerie, if you're still listening. I know you came on earlier, but you had a very fascinating question regarding placements of for your sun, Draco, first house, Gemini, opposite, and then the conjunction. He has Orion, Ursa Minor. I'm curious if that one is Polaris. Um, let me let me know later if you're listening to this or whatever if that's Polaris, because Polaris is a pretty powerful is a pretty powerful placement, which is great. So that's interesting. I might, just for the sake of it, because I won't be surprised if it's Polaris, I might share a little bit of information about that. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is Draco. Now, there is okay, Kim. Thank you, Kim. Awesome. Now I'm gonna eventually start remembering these, I promise. Okay, so Valerie, the first thing I want to share is Dracos. Now, there is a misconception that I know it drives me crazy when my glasses are crooked. There is a misconception that Dracos or reptilian placements are bad. I would not say that is always the case. And I think the most important thing to remember or understand, and I actually have, I think, two different videos where I talk about the beginnings of our incarnation experience and how the Dracos energy was kind of introduced into our galactic history. Yes, there was a lot of, we could say, reptilian wars and things. But this is what I like to say, and this is what I want anybody listening to, whether it be my star seed or galactic contacts or someone else's. This is the most important thing I try to share. And that is, please understand that at the end of the day, we are consciousness experiencing itself. What we are looking at in our history is going from consciousness developing with the first expressions of Lyran. Okay, this was a very much masculine expression. You know, it was like, yes, we're here, we're incarnated, we want to go out and explore and colonize and create and develop and all of these things. And as consciousness developed, it began to swing. Yes, polarity. Even within the first expressions of Lyra, the Lyrans eventually swung into some Lyrans moving to Vega and being called what we know the Vegans. And these were very much of a feminine expression compared to the first origins of Lyran. So, as consciousness experienced itself, there was polarity, okay? And yes, the Dracos and reptilians, you could say, were some of that first, more denser expression. I look at it like this, though. It's like a toddler or a child that's learning, that does things that you're like, that wasn't the best idea. That's wrong. You know, don't take toys from others. There's an understanding that this was the beginning of consciousness's journey. So it does not define anything, especially now, entirely. It helps shows gifts and shadows, but that is for any galactic race. For example, the Palladians, their shadow was they inserted themselves into everything. I got to fix everybody else's problems. And that ended up causing a lot of problems for their own people. You know, they inserted themselves because they thought they knew what was right, what people should or shouldn't do. And in some ways that backfired. There was that polarity, that learning, that balance. Okay, so Valerie, to your question, first off, don't feel frightened to anything to do with Dracos. Let me give you a little bit of information of what it could suggest. In general, Dracos can be connected to themes of alchemy. They have a lot of ancient wisdom. They're very telepathic. They are intuitive. They often have themes of power, yes, but this has been something that has evolved and we are learning, and it's like you can't understand one side without seeing the full scope. So anybody that has this energy or past history or past lives in Dracos, they've understood what it's like to be the victim and the villain. There's a full consciousness understanding in that. So also, there can be themes of if there were challenging past lives. And this is another little, I feel like I just am going to be direct with some of this stuff today. That is part of my Aries energy. Sometimes people will be surprised that they had past lives that were not good. Okay, got news for you. We all have them. Not any soul I've ever read for their patterns is 100% all good all the time, no challenges or no, difficulties, because that's not how consciousness develops and learns. Okay, so everyone has challenging past lives. That is not necessarily what you define as the fullness of you. You are a full scope of things. Okay, so don't be frightened if you have Dracos as a conjunction in your chart. All right, but that said, if you had, and I know we're talking about your son, so I'll be honest, I can't read his records without like a more involved session or finding out about his age or asking your guides if they'd even let me. It's because we have free will. That's another story. But to the sake of your question, if someone was to read his Akashic records and found out he had challenging past lives in Dracos, and this life he could have themes or challenges around themes around shame or feeling guilt. So you can look at if any of these topics come up or expressed. These are also different draconian qualities. Now, that said, the conjunctions, now I'm going to speak to Polaris. It's interesting because Polaris is actually very equally connected to Earth. Dracos is also connected to Earth. So you have two energies very connected to Earth. If you have Polaris in your chart, for anybody listening, okay, if you have conjunctions to Polaris, some of the gifts and traits are that, yes, you equally are very intuitive. You may have a gift between traveling between dimensions or in working in shamanic realms or with shamanic energy. They're healers. They have incredible energy to that. Connection to animals is another thing. So if you have this, that you may have a strong connection to animals. Side note, when we were talking about Dracos, if you have Dracos, you might very well be connected to dragons. There's high frequency of draconian that are high vibrational beings for sure that are connected to dragons. So here we have connection to dragons, connection to animals. Also, anyone with Polaris is sensitive to frequencies, especially around light. And ooh, Okay, so I'm feeling my guides are coming in and wanting to add more to that in general. To anybody listening, this could mean equally a sensitivity to frequency and frequency of light, meaning that if there was someone to say, let's say, see auras or have attunement to color vibration, that this would fit in. Okay, so Valerie, what I would say for this, first off, is these placements being the sun in the first house. This means that there probably is a significant journey around navigating these various gifts, abilities for your sun. I can say that if it's an opposition, generally speaking, in astrology, this in galactic astrology, without reading the Akashic records, I can say usually this means these are traits that aren't comfortable or that they're gifts that come later in life. So you're considering its opposite. It could be that your sun is meant to step into more confident roles of power, but especially with it being sun identity, but in overcoming some of the shame or lower vibrational energies that want to keep the energy subdued to not coming into the fullness. And so it could be something where, one energy feels more comfortable and the other. Now, that said, also, if you read the Akashic records, you can also get into depth. Sometimes you can unlock more of why a position is in opposition. Sometimes it can notate that it was a challenging life for that individual. Okay. All right. So that's that question. We have one more, but I'm going to look through really quick the chat again. Oh, oh wow, that's cool, Margot. That's cool. I'm so glad that resonated. Oh, yes. Thank you for joining. Um, oh, yes. Yes. Yes, I have seen Kelly has. I haven't had a chance to watch them yet. But yeah, that's awesome. All that's awesome. It's really great that there are so many people sharing their unique gifts and sharing this information and these things. And I know in galactic astrology, there are so many fabulous practitioners that have very unique gifts and ways of sharing things. So actually, the reason I'm galactic astrologer is I stumbled upon Ulrika Sullivan, and she was on my podcast, and it just was like it was instantly drawn to it. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kim. Okay, let's see here if I can get my mouse to cooperate with me. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Polaris square the sun, trine and trine. So, Sarah, one more little quick note on that is if you don't have a conjunction, but you do have the aspect, what I find often is it means that in your soul's journey, you engaged with that race in some capacity or another, and it influenced your journey in different ways, which a square, a trine, and trines all have different meanings to that. But usually, I would say in general, with the trine, you probably have Polarian traits or aspects that are a part of you based on journeys you've had connected to these energies. Okay. Oh, I love that. I love that, Kim. If we chose that incarnation, we wanted that experience. Exactly. Exactly. That's beautiful. Okay. Oh, yay. Okay. Awesome, Valerie. I'm glad you heard that. I would love to hear. Okay, yes, you said the information resonated. Thank you. Yay, wonderful. Okay, guys, this is the last question that I had in advance, and then I'm going to quick go back through the top here to see in the chats the questions that came through. If I don't get to your question, like I said, I will come back and get to it next week. Or you can connect with me. Like I know Ingrid, you and I are going to have a session after this. Okay, so next and last question I have in advance. All right, let's see if I pronounce this right. Barisa, if you're listening on the replay of this, let me know if I am pronunciating your name properly. Okay, Barisa asks, she has Jupiter conjunct South Node in Aquarius in the second house, and Jupiter conjunct Aquarius Sun in third, last degree. Now, it just so happens that Barisa, I know you recently purchased my asteroid chart study, and I know that was like, whoo, a lot of awesome information that was unlocked a lot for you or affirmed a lot for you. Now, I want to point out something instantly because I know you had that chart done. Anything that is connected to these placements will also be significant, especially South Node. So, for example, I looked through real quick your chart, and it does look like your sun in particular, which is nearby, had a fair amount of energies. So I feel like with your placements here, you also asked if your chart ruler is Jupiter because you are Sagittarius rising. Yes, if you are a Sagittarius rising, your chart ruler is Jupiter. If anyone listening is not familiar with this language, basically it means that whatever your rising sign is, the ruler of that planet, you want to look to see where it is, and that will play a significant theme in your life. So in Barisa, your Jupiter in Aquarius in the second house conjunct your South Node. So these energies will be very significant, and I'll talk about what it means in a minute. Another example is I am a Libra rising. So Libra is ruled by Venus. So I find Venus in my chart. Venus is in Gemini in the 8th house. This means that 8th house, Pluto energy is a big part of what I share. That's why I tell people over and over at this point, it's such a given. I'm like, okay, if you've stumbled upon me, you're probably about to go through some sort of transformation, awakening, or, major unlocking of something. It just is the nature of the energy. Okay, so Barisa, so this is what I want to share with you. So I'm going to focus on the first line first. Jupiter conjunct your South Node, Aquarius second. Okay, so this instantly says to me that your past life, what you came into already, you significantly carry with you rich wisdom, understanding. It's like it's your suitcase that came with you. So you instantly have access to a lot of expansion, a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding that kind of came with you, like the tools that came with you. Now, with this being in the second house, I would imagine that there could be a journey in your life, especially earlier in life, where you're learning to appreciate and notice and value this about yourself. Maybe it's something that because it comes naturally and Jupiter there, it's so expansive, maybe you assume everybody else has it too, and that it's not unique, or that, yeah, that's just that thing. But you're learning to understand and value this about yourself, and to understand that this is a part of you. This is a part of what you bring to the table, essentially. So now with this, one thing I want to say that's fascinating is with your South Node being in the second house. That means in Aquarius, that means your North Node is Leo, and it's in the eighth house. Okay, and we just talked about the eighth house with my placement: death, rebirth, transformation, joint finances, yes, sexuality, intimacy, but it's like that deeper essence. Okay, it's the embodiment of the experience. So to me, this is saying there are two sides. There's the part of you that naturally, like with Jupiter there, maybe the knowing, the information, the wisdom is effortless. It's easy. It's there. You don't notice it, but it moves from, kind of like an understanding or mental to embodiment in the eighth house, and something that is meant to be seen, Leo, and shared. And when you honor your uniqueness and share it, that it's transformative, kind of like what I just said about the eighth house. That when people engage in that, there's an aspect that it's very transformative. Okay, and so with Jupiter also conjunct your sun in the third, I would say this also would amplify this. I would look at it as the Aquarian energy and the third house energy for you. So I would say you maybe have a gift for writing, sharing, reaching people locally connected to you in your environment, that you're supposed to embrace your Aquarian side. That you might have unique perspectives, you might be innovative, you might be the rebel, to kind of honor that. And as you do, Jupiter will bless it. Okay, so that's just a little bit of energy there for you to play with. I would say if you did look back at your asteroid chart, anything connected, for example, if you have an Egyptian placement or a Greek placement, this also can be influential in the energy that's supporting you in this life. Okay, all right, so that is the questions that I had. Okay, so now I'm gonna real quick go through the chat here. I saw them and totally agree with you. Resonate, Priscilla is my name. Okay, all right, so we're going back. Let's see here. I have to get my glasses. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to fast forward. So Sarah was the first question. Okay, question. Lately I've been Metatron and my Akashic guides during my meditation and prayers. A few days ago, while I was in a half-awake state, I clearly heard a voice on my left ear say, "Would you make an agreement with us?" A voice was childish, Pixie. Do you have any insights? Okay, Sarah, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, yes, I can tune into your energy and see what was coming through with that, and if there's any guidance. Okay, the first thing I'm picking up is that's wonderful. As far as like noticing your gifts and the energy speaking. A couple of things I feel like that is not a necessarily reflection of any decision one way or another, but I feel like something your guides also are excited for your journey, and a few kind of foundational pieces. To also, when you are, for anybody listening, if anything is saying, can we make an agreement, or can any energy that connects in that state, you always have the authority to kind of feel into that energy. So in that, how does it feel in your body? And this isn't not only is it good for boundaries, but it's also good to get to know the energies that are connecting to you. So for example, Sarah, I would say, like, when you heard it, if you felt into your body, like, or if it was to happen again, like, where did you feel it? Did you feel like butterflies in your stomach, or feel excited? You said it's childlike, or pixie. How did it make you feel? Did it excite you? Did your head tingle? Did your hands vibrate? Like, noticing these different sensations is not only good because it helps us set energetic boundaries to understand what feels like it's honoring when it's connecting to us, but also it helps us give more information on where are we feeling it in the body. Did it have a color? Learning about the color rays is also very beneficial when you're trying to understand what sort of energies are coming to you, or connecting to you. So these are some of the things. I feel like, Sarah, these are all things too that are excited to play with and work with. I think the reason they're saying this, and I'm just getting affirmation. I feel like the reason they're saying this in part is because part of the opening of your channel is in learning to identify the frequencies that are connecting to you, because it does feel like you are a very open channel. I know for myself in particular, it is harder for me, not to say that I can't, it is harder for me to connect to mediumship. So get at past loved ones, past ancestors. That is a realm that doesn't come up as frequently in my energy. Most of the time, I'm connecting to very specifically angelic or galactic frequencies are the easiest for me. But there are individuals that are very open and can connect to all sorts of things. So I feel like in part your guides, and this isn't coming from a place of warning, it's coming from a place of they're enthusiastic and excited for you to start tuning into nuances of different things, because that is how you're gonna I feel like you're going to be able to be really attuned as a channel. And I don't remember what we talked about last week entirely. So I'm not sure if this builds off of that, but basically, so that's lovely. The guidance that they're wanting to give you on the insights of that, you're saying, like, do you have any insights? I would feel into my body. Where am I feeling it? So they said, would you like to make an agreement with us? If you're feeling it and it feels childlike, and you feel lit up, or your heart is vibrating, your head is, these are higher chakras. So like heart, throat, third eye, crown. Like, if these are lighting up, or if you're seeing like high frequency colors like purple or blue, and you could say pinks or greens. You could say, like, oh, this feels so good. I feel it. I feel it in my heart. I feel enthusiastic like a child. And then I would say, after I had a read on the energy, say something like, well, that sounds kind of fun, but tell me more. Okay, so you want to engage with the energy and be mindful to always honor your intuitive radar system, if you will. And also, I know everybody has different practices that are channelers. I know psychics tend to that do connect with mediumship get a lot, hear a lot, and especially have to set strong boundaries. My boundaries, I just call upon Archangel Michael and I ask that he cover me in his golden light of protection, and inviting connections with frequencies that are of high vibration, love, and light. So there are different ways. Everybody does it differently. Okay, so Sarah, I feel like that's what's coming up is definitely you're an open channel, and you're in the process of learning, and so meaning learning more specifically how to decipher the energies, which is a great gift. That's why as a trance channeler, I can do that pretty smoothly because I can tune into those frequencies and notice how to notice when things are aligned and accurate. Okay, hopefully that helps. I'm going to disconnect from your energy, Sarah, and go to the next question here. If you're in the chat, let me know how that resonated. Or if you're listening to the replay, I would love anybody that listens back, take a moment to comment and let me know how it feels. Okay. All right. So we got Sarah's question in. Wonderful. Sorry, I'm trying to go as quick as I can. I'm going to spend about 10 more minutes and then I'm going to probably have to take off here. Okay, Priscilla, may I ask a love reading? Yes, and you gave me permission. You're next. All right, so Priscilla, I'm going to tune in to your energy to see. Awesome, Sarah. Thank you. Wonderful. That's so sweet. I appreciate the compliment. That means I don't know how to put my own reply to comments. I don't know if you could do that. I'm not very tech savvy. Okay. All right, Priscilla, I'm going to tune in to you're asking for an intuitive reading regarding love, the topic of love. Okay. If you're listening, just kind of, if you can, Priscilla, just like rest into your body. Take a breath. Okay, the first thing I'm picking up on is I feel like your guides want to encourage you, that what you want wants you as well. That the type of connections associated with the love that you want equally want you as well. And the thing though I'm feeling like that's coming through is also there's a level of patience. And I'm just trying to tune in if this is patience in a particular person or patience in a situation. I'm hearing patience in a situation. I feel like there's an energy of like what it is you're wanting and wanting to experience. And there may be something that has actually and I'm just tuning in because I'll be honest, sometimes guides won't want to give us too much because they want us to live through the experience. But what I'm sensing is patience in a situation. I feel like there's some foundational shifts or energies associated with yourself. I feel like that are kind of like if your guides were sitting in front of you, it feels like they'd be like, okay, yes, we're so excited. We want you to know we're excited. We want you to know that you want this thing, you want these experiences, you want these connections, and we want them for you too. We do. We absolutely do. And it's going to be so great. But also, we want for a few things to kind of be like tweaked in place first. We want the foundation, if it was like, the foundation was concrete, we want the concrete to set first. We want it, or the steps to be built first. And I'm hearing it's like there's some nuanced things that I feel like won't I'm hearing it won't be long, won't take long. But it feels like in your situation where you are in life right now, there's some things that kind of are just clicking in a new way that are going to be a stronger foundation and a better signal for what it is that you want to pull in. I'm also getting a sensation that you've either been working on or they're acknowledging you've done good work as it relates to self love within yourself. So I feel like I'm kind of feeling it like a pat on the back energy. So I'm not sure if there is some things you've been navigating around healing or working through or honoring, self love, self value, what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not willing to tolerate. But whatever that journey is, I feel like your guides are kind of given like a thumbs up, gold star. I'm feeling like you've done a fair amount of work is what I'm sensing. And the guidance that's coming through is to be patient. And it's just a few other things that are clicking into place, but what you wants you back. Okay. If you are still listening, Priscilla, leave me. Okay, I'm still here. Okay, let me know how that feels and if that resonates. And then I'm going to move on to the next question. I'm going to disconnect from your energy. Thank you for what came through. Wonderful. Okay. All right. I'm going to do one more question. This will be the last one for today. Okay. And I think that's Amy. Not Amy. Kim. Yes? Air Alchemy Apothecary. Kim. Let me look through the comments again and find Kim. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. So you will be the last question for today. And then I'll look through any notes of other questions and I will address them next week. Okay. So met someone, Vertex opposing Saturn, Scorpio, fourth house. I was totally smitten up. Yeah. Yeah, that Scorpio energy is fun. Red flags, any intuitive guidance, navigating, calling in my soul family. Ooh, okay. All right. Kim, let me connect to your energy. Give me just a second. Okay, Kim. So the first thing I'm getting, and it's kind of coming in fairly strong. There's a level of the situation that feels like it's an energy of sometimes there are connections that are fated, and they're fated for growth. Now, I know people can get into, is this soulmate or is this twin flame and different? I'm not going there. And if I'm honest, I don't know if I personally, it resonates the certain twin flame aspects to me. Don't nobody listening throw stones. But this is what I feel. I feel like what your guides is wanting to say is sometimes we can have an idea of things that we want or experiences we want to have, and they sound great on paper, but we don't know what to do with some aspects of them when they come into our realm. And what I feel like is there's a level here, and it doesn't feel like your guides are saying 100%. So I'm not saying 100% all red flags aren't existent. That is, I feel like that's coming clear that that is not what they're saying, but what they are saying, some perceived things that are not comfortable actually are there intentionally for growth. And so also there can be layers in which some things that we might want can manifest in ways that can feel confusing. We might not exactly be there yet to experience. So it's like there's a little bit of sharpening to climb up to get to that point. And I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I mean, I feel like okay, I'll just use myself because it keeps coming up. I wanted a partner that well, it's funny, when I sat down with my little manifestation list, I was like, I want a partner that not only gets me and understands me, but challenges me. And boy, I should have like given a percentage or a disclaimer to that, because I very much met that person. And I'm an Aries, he's a Taurus, and but we speak the same language and we sharpen and grow. But also, I wanted to be open. You have to be open and vulnerable in a relationship to like have someone that not only gets you, but can call you out and say, I want something better for you. You can do better than this. You have to be open and vulnerable with that. And in this relationship experience, what I've realized in the growth about myself is ways in which I thought I was open and I really wasn't. So it's been very discomforting in a lot of ways. And there have been a lot of perceived red flags in that. But what I especially initially felt as red flags actually really weren't. So I feel like there is a degree in this connection in some way. And I think that because there is a reason or a purpose behind it, that is why it kind of feels an intensity, especially in meeting or in the beginning of this. So I feel like whatever this connection is, that there probably are experiences within it that are designed to help you grow and to understand on new levels what it is you're wanting to have an experience in life. But yeah, I think that I think I think that I feel like if I had to put it into language from the energy I'm sensing from your guides, is like I would see where that one leads. So I mean, see, let me know what resonates with that. But that's kind of what I'm picking up energetically. Um, I'm asking your guides if there's any closing. No, that's all for now. Okay. All right. All right, Kim. So that is your guidance there. Okay. So I'm a little over my time and what I said I wanted to do. Um, On people, I'm reading Ingrid, I'm reading your, okay. Let's see, was there any other questions? Guided journey. Wonderful, wonderful. Emerging from the chrysalis, yep. Okay, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, wow, did I get all but one? Oh, that's beautiful, Sarah. I felt peaceful, like it was something normal, like something sitting. Oh my God, I love that. Oh, crown chakra. That's beautiful. I definitely do feel, Sarah, it was a good energy. I know the guidance, I was kind of like, but I feel like it wasn't to be taken as boundaries in a negative way because I feel like it's just part of the guidance is part of that channel opening up stronger. Yes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, Kim, you're in Florida. You'll have to tell me where. Oh, thank you. Let's see here. Let me. Wonderful. Okay, all right, yes. All right, everybody. It looks like I got through except for Ingrid's question, but Ingrid, we'll talk in a few minutes for your session. So thank you, everybody. And in closing, I just want to say, I know I mentioned a couple of you have worked with me. I just want to mention if you are interested in working more with me. Like I said, all that energy, people awesome regularly when they find me are about to go through a jump and come into their fullness. So if you feel very called to explore more, there are different ways. This simplest way, I think if you just wanted to taste of things, you can book a channeling session with me where we just kind of have a connection. I think I offer is the smallest session I offer is 30 minutes. So we can kind of connect and a lot can come in, let me tell you, a lot can come in 30 minutes with me. But if you really feel like you're on a journey and you're really unlocking a lot of things, I would definitely recommend considering my discovery session or soul permission session. A package. My soul permission package, just to give you an idea of where it's different. It is a full scope journey. For example, quickly, I'll just say I had one client meet me, and once she had her session, it quantum jumped her energy. She started getting better, healthy, fit. Her food and eating changed. She stepped into her gifts. She started like studying new things. Well, during the scope of our journey, she ended up, you could see the arc. It's like her guides got her health in line because she went through, a health scare and then came through into her personal power and embodiment in ways that just like are like mind blowing. So it's my soul permission package is a way to kind of like really work through in fullness together. Okay, but whether it's a Akashic Records reading or a Galactic Astrology, it falls into my discovery or my soul permission package. But if you want to work with me, I would love to work with you to talk more, get to know you better, and if nothing else, come back next Thursday and we'll chat again on point. Yay, Kim. Awesome. I'm glad that was helpful. All right. Okay, guys. Have a good day. Bye.